Okay, let's read the next page. Mm, Next page is and on the outside. Six organs that are on the outside of your body are called genital. Girls' genital aren't very obvious. In fact, you can't really see them unless you use a mirror. The vulva. The proper word for girls' genitals is vulva. Your vulva is cushioned by two thick folds of skin called the outer labia lips. Don't worry if yours aren't symmetrical. Inside the outer labia, you have two smaller lips called the inner labia. These are sensitive to touch. At the front, where your inner labia meet, is a small V-shaped bump called the clitoris. This is very sensitive to touch. The vagina opening stretches easily like the vagina itself. Your vagina opening may be covered by a thin layer of skin called the hymen. Third, your vagina opening may be covered by a thin layer or skin called the hymen, often the squares. Always while you're a child, especially if you do not do a lot of sports, you will wear all completely as you know. So, nearby part, the tiny hole where your urine comes out, called the urinary opening. It's a bit further back than your clitoris. It isn't really part of your genital because it had nothing to do with sex. Your anus, where the solid waste comes out when you go to the toilet, where the solid waste comes out when you go to the toilet, isn't part of your vulva either, but it's very close to it. Bodily fluids. As you grow up, fluid starts leaking out of your vagina opening sometimes. This might sound appalling, but it's actually healthy, as the fluid keeps your vagina clean and moisturized. There won't be so much of it that it soaks through your knickers. Same but different. When they're in their mother's warp, girl and boys' babies look the same at first. It's only after about 12 weeks that their genitals start to develop differently. The pea-shaped part that comes a clitoris in girls goes on to grow into a penis in boys. Why periods happened? The biggest growing up change of all is that you start having periods. A few days aside bleeding each month from your vagina. This might sound scary, but periods from show that your body is working properly. If you do what to expect, there are nothing to worry about. Periods and baby? Periods are due to with babies. Every month, a woman's warp builds up to a think soft lining, a blood vessel, so that a baby could nestle there and grow. When the woman doesn't become pregnant, the warp lining breaks down and comes out of the vagina as a period. That's why I've started. People usually notice a period has started when they go to the toilet. When the period starts, they're coupled to cold and closed when your periods might start. It will probably be about 2 1.2 years after your breast began to grow, and for a few months before your first period. You might get more fluid than usual, leaking out of your vaginal period. Usually start sometime between the age of 10 and 50, but not always. How often? How long? The time between the start of one period and the start of next is often about 28 days, 4 weeks, or about a month. But this can vary from 20 to 35 days or even longer, especially when your periods first began, and each period can last as little as 2 days or as long as 8, all caused by hormones. It's your sex hormones that make your periods happen. In the first half of the month, estrogen makes the lining of your womb thicken up, then ripe eggs burst out of one of your ovaries and travel down a fallopian tube. Progesterone now thickens the womb lining even more. But when the egg doesn't meet a sperm and start growing to a baby, the egg breaks down and the level of estrogen and progesterone fall. This makes the lining break down and your period start. Using towel. Most girls feel happier using sanitary towels pads instead of tampons when they first start their periods. Sanitary towels fit in your sneakers and soak up the blood as it leaves at your body. Timed up towels. Most towels have a sticky strip on the back of your breast, them onto your knickers to hold them in place. It might take a bit of practice to get them exactly right. Some towers have side flaps too. Nor swing these fold over and stick to the underneath of your knickers so the tower is held in place extra securely and is a bit more absorbent to size and thickness. Towers come in different sizes, so you can choose one to fit the shape of your body and come to different thicknesses too. The blood usually flows more healthily near to start of the period. So you might need a sticker, tower then, and at bedtime. When you and at bedtime. It is a funny sound joke when you won't be changing it until the morning. Okay. Changing towers. You'll soon get used to feeling when your tower needs changing. In the day, you should change tower every few hours anyway, not just in case they leak, but also to stop bad bacteria building up on them. Period blood is completely clean, but once it's outside your body, this meets bacteria in the air, and this can cause a smell or even infection. Or even a infection. Getting rid of towers. You can You can't flush towels down the toilet as they block the pump, or sometimes end up polluting beaches or rivers. Instead, you need to grab them up and put them in a bin. If your towel are individually grabbed, and put them back in the wrapper to throw away. Otherwise, use an old plastic bag. It's good idea to take a bag with you when you go out. A soaked special bin is often provided in public toilet, or you may not need bags to use those. Using tablet. Many women prefer tampons to sanitary towel because um, they soak up period blood right inside your vagina, and you can't feel a tampon once it's in place. There's no risk at all of tampons being seen through your clothes, and you can even go swimming with one in kind of tappins. Some tappins come with an applicator designed to help you get the tampon into your vagina. Some some people find it easier to use the non-applicator type of tampon, which you just push in your finger size. Tampons comes in different size. The size you use depends on how healthy your period is, not on the side of your body. Some backpacks have a few tampons of size different size in them for different days or your period. Many size for when a period of light is light, regular size for in between days, super size for when the period is healthy. Putting a tampon in is the best to try a tampon for the first the time when your period is healthy, as it will go more easily. Use the small sign, follow the instruction carefully. You can't get it in. It is properly just that your tense. Leave it for now and try another time. Changing tapping. Just as the tap and start to leak, you might feel a bubbling sensation, and the string will get blood stained. Even if your period is light, you need to change tappings every 4 hours sooner. If you don't, vagina bacteria can cause infection. For this reason, it can be a good idea to use a towel at night. Tampons will flush away, but it's better for the environment if you get rid of them in a way as towel. To use or not to use. What do you think? Can you guess it? You can try tapping even if you're only just start your period so long as you feel comfortable about it. But read the instruction carefully, especially the part about toxic shock syndrome. This is a rare but serious illness. To reduce your risk, use the smallest tampons you can. Change them often and use towels at night or when your period is light. Coping with period. Having periods is normal, healthy part of growing up, and many people have no problems all. With them at all. And on the other hand, your hormone levels are going up and down throughout the month. This can make you feel better or sometimes than others. Period pain. Some women get an itchy low down in their tummy at the start of a period. This happens when hormones affect muscles in the womb. Doing some exercise often helps a lot, but if the pain is too bad for what, you can try resting for a while with a hot water bottle on your tummy. If that doesn't work either, you may be able to take a painkiller. PMS. Some people feel bloated, headachy, tired, and low for a few days before their periods. This is known as PMS. That means premenstrual syndrome and is probably caused by changing hormone levels. There's no foolproof remedy, but it's worth trying to eat healthy food later and often throughout the day, as well as taking exercise and getting extra sleep. Top tips: be prepared. As your periods may not be regular at first, carry your area towel or tampon with you just in case. You can also wear a paint li- mm, liner when you're expecting a period. These are like very small thin pads in an emergency. Use tissue paper, towel, toilet paper, or even a sock. Be confident. You may be that everyone can tell you're having a period just by looking at you. They really can't. And most towels are so slim that they would never be seen unless your clothes were really skin tight. Change towel happens often. Some people wear dark colored clothes during their periods, just in case of a leak. If yours happens, try tying your jumper around your waist to hide the mark or turn your skin around so people will think you spilled something down your front. Relax in a bath. Blood flows more slowly in water, so it's fine to have a bath. Just have a lot of toilet paper ready afterward so you don't get blood on your bath towel. Your feeling. It's not surprising if you sometimes get moody. You're changing so fast, emotionally as well as physical. Don't despair. Your hormones still have to find their level, but they'll settle down even actually, and then so will you. Friends, you might find that some of your childhood friendships shift around a bit as you all grow up at different rates and perhaps develop new interests. It's usually to want to belong to a group of friends, but don't feel you always have to follow the group. True friends will respect you for being an individual too. If you often feel shy and awkward, it may help to know that lots of other people do too. Even the loudest type can be covering up a lack or confidence inside. right? Parents. It's normal to become less dependent on your parents. The house you prepare to fend for yourself as an adult, but it often causes disagreements. Your parents will want to protect you from making bad decisions because you haven't had much experience of life yet. Keep talking things over with them and compromising. They probably only want you to be safe and happy. They realize you're becoming more mature. The chances are there will allow you more independence. Fancying, fancying people as you get older is all the only natural to start feeling sexually attractive to other people. You might even fantasize about someone you fancy, but don't worry, that's a safe way of exploring your emotion and touching your genital because it feels good. Car masturbation is natural too. Masturbating might end in an orgasm, often called coming. This is a fluttery, shuddery feeling in your genitals that can make your whole body feel relaxed. The age when people want to start dating varies, just like all the other trends of growing up. Don't feel pressure to go out with anyone until you're ready to. Don't date anyone unless they treat you and with kindness and respect. It isn't unusual to fancy someone the same sex as you when you're growing up. Usually people go on to have stronger feeling for the opposite sex, but this doesn't always happen, and it's possible to fancy both boys and girls. Women who date other women are known as lesbians. The word gay is more often used to describe men who date men, but can be used to describe lesbians too. Okay, now, how about good food? Good food, believe it or not, you really would deal with the ums and downs of poverty better if you were eating a good diet. You won't just feel healthier and more energetic, but your hair and skin will look healthier too, and you'll be more likely to read a good weight and stay at it. Food groups you have to eat how you have to eat lots of different fruits to get all the nutrients goodness you need. Dietitians Dietitians divide foods into five groups: bread, potatoes, rice, pasta, and cereals. These are starchy carbohydrates and you should eat lots for energy. Fruit, vegetable, fresh, frozen, and canned. Eat at least 5 portions a day. They give you essential vitamins and minerals as well as fiber. What can protect you from disease? Potatoes aren't included in this group, but beans and lentils are. Meat, fish, egg, nuts, beans, lentils. Eat moderate amount of these food. They provide proteins which help you to grow. Milk, cheese, yogurt. Eat moderate amounts. These food contain calcium, which helps you to develop strong bones and teeth. Food contain fat and or sugars. Don't eat too many of these. Examples of two foods that are mostly fat and sugar include milkshakes and ice cream and biscuits. How much? At puberty, you need as much food as an adult woman because you're growing so fast. Hunger is the best guide to how much to eat. Eat when you're hungry, but don't keep eating once you're full. And don't worry about putting on a bit of weight. As you grow taller, you will appear slimmer again. Okay? This chart shows what proportions of your food should come from each group. You should eat most from groups 1 and 2, at least from group 5. Okay, so today, you see it. This is the page I finish. So tomorrow I will read this page for you. Right? Bye.